Hello and welcome to a Business Minute with Lily Lopez. We're here today celebrating our annual Breast Cancer Awareness Lunch Conference. And with me is Patsy Sanchez, who is a book author. And look at this, what a nice book. And it's titled You Made Me Brave. And I imagine that, of course, you had to become very brave because she's a breast cancer survivor. And we're honored and privileged to have her here today as one of our panelists.
Thank you.
We have, as everybody knows, we've been doing this for 14 years. Actually, we're one of the first chambers that started creating awareness and celebrating the Breast Cancer Awareness Conference Lunch. And it's been good to see and wonderful to see how many women have gotten so much information, how much we have learned about breast cancer and how important the mammogram is, how important it is what you eat, alcohol consumption. So every year there's more things out there, Patsy. So tell me about your story and how you were able to survive this. And just, you look beautiful here, by the way. I say this is a beautiful picture and you're beautiful inside and out. And so just tell me what you're going to do today, how you're going to talk. And I know it's emotional for you, but how many years ago was this?
Thank you for having me here. It was 10 years ago this year, so I'm actually celebrating my 10-year anniversary, which is a big milestone for cancer survivors, as you know. And I was diagnosed in 2014, and as I was sharing with you before, it came as a surprise. Many people think that if it runs in your family, that's when you worry, but I didn't have any history in my family of breast cancer. And so, but I dug into my toolbox and I decided I was going to fight this cancer, and I was going to live for not only for myself, but for my children and my family.
Did you have to undergo any type of chemotherapy or radiation?
You did? The whole shebang. I had to do.
That's why you have here the.
I had a double mastectomy. I had to do.
Double.
Absolutely, I had to do chemotherapy.
Did you have the BRCA? Did they ever say you have the BRCA 1 or 2?
And I did not have. So I tested negative for many of those things. So that was good news. But it was advanced enough that I had to have all the treatment. And so it's hard. The reason why I wanted to write this book, which really wrote itself out, because it's a diary. It's a diary. It's a cyber diary. I took everything that I had shared during my journey, and I was very public. I had a very public, type of life in my community, and so I decided that I was going to do something with this diagnosis. I needed some good to come out of it, and that's what I did.
Of course. And why did they say that you needed a double mastectomy if you only had cancer in one breast?
The recommendation was to take care of it
because
for
they
once
thought, because they thought that you were.
There was a good chance that it could happen again in the other breast, and really for peace of mind.
For peace of mind, yes.
I didn't want to find myself there if I could avoid it.
Right.
And at that point, it was really a no-brainer for me to have a double mastectomy.
And it was already 10 years ago. And what is the procedure? What is the follow-up? So for all these 10 years.
Right. So, and that's so important because you do need that follow-up. I mean, at 10 years, I found myself celebrating. We talked about how that's an important milestone, and yet I had to have a procedure. So just a month ago, I'm recovering from another surgery. Unfortunately, I had a rupture and I had to revisit my surgery.
Okay.
So this is very, it's common. It happens. And now, but we know better. This is not like it was 10 years ago where I was facing a cancer diagnosis. And, cancer is very scary. It's one of those things that, and I wanted to highlight with the book, Lily, the idea that it takes an enormous amount of courage. And it takes an enormous, cancer does not come with a pause button. You have to continue to be a mother, a sister, a wife, a community leader.
Do what you have to do.
And
at the same time suffering,
absolutely,
enduring what you have.
Navigating this new reality while you're continuing to perform in all the roles of your life. So I wanted to acknowledge.
So it's draining. It's draining,
It's very draining. It takes a lot of courage. And I wanted to highlight that, the courageous nature of all patients and all survivors.
Did the doctors, Patsy, change your diet? What did they say? I know that in the U.S. we have so many additives. We have so many things that people in Europe and Latin America don't have. Yeah. So sometimes I wonder, and everybody I guess has the same question. Why there must be something in our diet, in our food, because there's so much breast cancer and so much cancer in general.
Yeah, there's so many theories, and surely you can speak to a nutritionist and follow their guidelines and so forth. To be honest with you, my main focus, I wrote about 10 gifts that I found throughout my journey were very, very important. Surely diet is one of them, but so is humor. So is
humor, of course.
Great gratitude, being grateful for everything in life.
That relaxes you when you have humor, when you're
love.
Yeah, love.
The hormones that are the happy hormones that flow through your body when you're not only in love,
person.
but you've got love of your family, love of your community.
That makes a big difference.
It really helps.
Of course it does.
And obviously you can't give up.
No, exactly. That's what I always say.
And
never
that's
give up.
important.
You never give up. Exactly.
Faith is important. Courage, as we talked about, is important. So there were a few things that I highlighted in the book that were later validated by research, and it made me feel really good inside because I went into these gifts, you know, instinctively, yet it's been proven that those things help.
That they help, exactly. So Patsy, anything else that we want to mention?
I just want to tell women to get checked, get their annual mammograms. It really does save lives.
It does,
may sound like a cliche, but it is
true. But it did, yeah.
And hopefully we, you know, come to a day where we can prevent cancer. But in the meantime,
hopefully, and it's 1 in 8, right?
It's 1 in 8 women.
It's just crazy.
Absolutely.
And it's more so, I guess, in developed countries. What I've heard.
Yes.
In developed countries. Yeah.
So the end of the bottom line is that information is power.
Of course it is. Información es poder. I had a good friend who was a journalist and always told me, remember, información es poder.
Así es.
Eso mismo. Well, thank you, Patsy. I'm honored to have you here. Thank you for coming to be a panelist today, all the way from your home.
Thank you for
all the way in Tallahassee.
Tallahassee.
Right? Wow. Tallahassee is a nice city. Small town, but it has a good flavor.
On you.
Tiene buen sabor. Well, thank you so much, and I'll see you all next week at the same time. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of A Business Minute with Lily Lopez.